The sun dipped low in the New Mexico sky, casting long shadows across the arid landscape of the White Sands Research Base. Dust swirled in the evening light, dancing in the wake of the sudden and ominous arrival of the Varellan warship. It loomed overhead, a colossal structure that seemed to absorb the very essence of the atmosphere, its smooth, glass-like surface reflecting hues of blue and silver. Dr. Nathan Carter stood outside the compound, his hands shoved deep into the pockets of his worn jacket, his three cats, Einstein, Curie, and Hawking, left behind in his cluttered apartment. He squinted at the alien vessel, his heart pounding with a mix of dread and curiosity. The astrophysicist had dedicated his life to studying the cosmos, to uncovering the secrets of the universe, but nothing could have prepared him for this moment. A military convoy pulled up beside him, and Major Grace Holbrook stepped out, her expression a mask of determination. She marched over, her combat boots crunching against the gravel. "Carter," she snapped, her tone brusque. "We're going in. You're up." "Right. Because what I really want is to play diplomat with an alien warlord," he muttered, rolling his eyes. "Commander Illyria Var isn't a warlord. She's the envoy for the Varellan. And if we don't handle this correctly, Earth as we know it could be wiped out." Nathan raised an eyebrow, his sarcasm bubbling beneath the surface. "No pressure then. Just keep your wits about you. They've been observing us for centuries. Their conclusion isn't promising." "Wonderful," he replied dryly. "I can't wait to hear their thoughts on our reality TV shows." Holbrook shot him a look. "This is serious, Carter. We need to show them we can communicate. Your expertise in xenobiology could be our only chance." With a sigh, Nathan followed her into the compound. The air inside was tense, charged with an electric quality that seemed to hum with the very presence of the alien ship above. The scientists and military personnel bustled around, their voices a murmur of anxiety and anticipation. They reached the briefing room, a stark space illuminated by fluorescent lights. A holographic display flickered to life, projecting an image of the Varellan ship. Its sleek contours shimmered, and Nathan couldn't help but feel a sense of awe mixed with unease. "Remember, you're the best chance we have," Holbrook said, her voice steadying as she faced him. "You'll be the first human to meet them. Just be yourself." "Right. Be myself while a blue-skinned alien decides whether to eradicate humanity or not." He chuckled nervously, masking the tension that gripped him. Before she could respond, the door slid open with a soft whoosh, and a figure stepped through. Commander Illyria Var was a sight to behold, an imposing figure with smooth sapphire skin that glowed faintly under the harsh lights. Her silver markings pulsed rhythmically, a mesmerizing display that seemed to resonate with her emotions or lack thereof. "Dr. Nathan Carter," she said, her voice a melodic cadence, precise and deliberate. "I have awaited this meeting." Yeah," Nathan stammered, suddenly acutely aware of his own humanity. "Pleasure to meet you, Commander. Your species possesses a fascinating array of emotional responses," she continued, tilting her head, her nebula-like eyes studying him. "It is perplexing." "Yeah, we're a bit of a mess," he replied, his dry humor surfacing despite the gravity of the situation. "But that's why we have therapists." Illyria Var's expression didn't change, but Nathan could see a flicker of intrigue in her gaze. "You joke, yet your species is on the brink of self-destruction. Emotion clouds judgment, fosters violence. It is an existential risk." "Great. So, what's the plan? You hover over us in your shiny spaceship and wait for us to implode?" "Not exactly," she replied, her tone unflinching. "We will destroy your planet unless I ascertain that humanity has the capacity for emotional unity." Nathan blinked, processing her words. "Wait, what? You can't be serious." "I am entirely serious. Your capacity for emotional resonance will determine your species' survival." "Okay, so what do you want from me?" He could feel the weight of her gaze, the intensity of her scrutiny. You will share your bed with me tonight, as proof of your species' capacity for emotional unity. Silence hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Nathan's mouth fell open, words escaping him. You, what? I'm sorry. Did you just suggest what I think you did? Illyria Var remained calm, her expression steady. Emotional connection is vital. I require first-hand experience to assess human potential. Right, because that's how you measure emotional intelligence, by sleeping with someone. Precisely. She paused, her markings shifting in hue, a flicker of something that might have been curiosity. You find this unacceptable? Unacceptable. It's absurd. You're an alien. I'm a scientist, an individual who has dedicated his life to understanding the cosmos. You are uniquely qualified for this task. You're talking about an act of unity. If you refuse, Earth's existence is forfeit. The implications of her words crashed over him like a tidal wave. The stakes were higher than he'd ever imagined. Okay, let's say I agree. What happens next? Then we will explore the potential of your species together. If you succeed, we will reconsider our stance. Let's be clear, this isn't exactly what I had in mind for my Friday night, or any night for that matter. Time is of the essence, Dr. Carter. The longer we delay, the closer your planet comes to destruction. He rubbed the back of his neck, glancing at Holbrook, who stood at the doorway, her expression a mixture of disbelief and concern. Fine, he said, exhaling sharply. I'll do it, but we're doing this under your terms. No funny business. Illyria Var's markings brightened, a cascade of silver shimmering across her skin like a supernova. Very well, I will prepare. As she turned to leave, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that he was on the precipice of something monumental, something that could change the fate of his world. Wait, he called out, halting her in her tracks. What if this doesn't work? What if I can't connect? Then humanity will face extinction, she replied, her voice steady. But I believe you are capable of more than you realize. With that, she exited the room, leaving Nathan alone with the weight of her words and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. He stared at the door for a moment, his mind racing. Just another day at the office, he muttered to himself, the absurdity of the situation sinking in. Major Holbrook stepped closer, crossing her arms. You really went for it, didn't you? Couldn't exactly say no, could I? You know, Earth in peril, and all that. She smirked, though her eyes held concern. Just remember, if she tries to take over the world after this, I'm not helping you. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Major. As he left the briefing room, Nathan felt a strange mix of dread and excitement. The fate of humanity rested on his shoulders, and he was about to embark on a journey that would challenge everything he believed about emotion, connection, and perhaps even himself. And as he stepped into the waiting darkness, he couldn't help but wonder, what exactly did it mean to truly resonate with another being? The corridors of the Varellan ship glimmered with a soft, ethereal light as Nathan made his way through the alien vessel. Each step felt surreal, the gravity subtly shifting beneath his feet, as though he were walking through a dream. The walls seemed to pulse in response to his thoughts, the bioluminescent patterns shifting in swirling colors. He reached the designated diplomatic quarters, the door sliding open with a smooth hiss. Inside, the room was minimalistic, the furniture sleek and organic in design, as if grown rather than built. A large bed dominated the space, its silken sheets shimmering in hues of blue and silver, an unsettlingly beautiful sight. Illyria Var awaited him, standing by the window that framed the endless expanse of stars. Her sapphire skin glowed softly, the silver markings swirling like constellations across her form. She was a striking figure, radiating an aura of calm authority amidst the chaos of the situation. "Carter," she said, her voice melodic and steady, "you have arrived. I trust you are prepared for our exploration." "Exploration," he repeated, trying to shake off the nervousness crawling up his spine. Is that what we're calling this? The corner of her mouth twitched, a hint of amusement in her otherwise stoic demeanor. The term is appropriate, is it not? We are delving into the depths of human emotional capacity. Right, because nothing says emotional depths like sharing a bed with an alien. He crossed his arms, attempting to maintain a facade of bravado while feeling the weight of the situation pressed down on him. You do understand how strange this sounds, right? Strange is a subjective term, she replied, turning to face him fully. Your species has an aversion to the unknown, yet it is my duty to assess your potential by sleeping with me, just making sure I'm following. Yes, she affirmed, her expression unwavering. It is a necessary step to evaluate your emotional resonance. Nathan pinched the bridge of his nose, trying to process the absurdity of it all. Okay, so let's say I want to do this. What's the plan? Do we just lie there and stare at the ceiling? Illyria's gaze remained fixed on him, her nebula-like eyes reflecting an intensity that made his stomach twist. We will engage in mutual understanding. Sharing a bed is conducive to emotional exchange. It is not merely physical, Dr. Carter. It is an exploration of your psyche. Fantastic, he muttered. Nothing like an alien probing my psyche to bring out my inner feelings. Do you resist this experience? She asked, her tone shifting slightly, a flicker of something akin to concern in her gaze. Resist? I'm not sure I can muster the emotional energy to resist something I can't even comprehend. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself, feeling the weight of the universe pressing down on him. What if I fail? What if I can't connect? Illyria stepped closer, her presence both intimidating and oddly comforting. Your fear is understandable, yet failure is part of growth. If you are to save your planet, you must confront your apprehensions. Great pep talk, he replied dryly though. A part of him felt the truth in her words. The stakes were monumental, and the only way forward seemed to be through this bizarre agreement. So where do we start? First, we must establish a baseline of emotional understanding. She gestured toward the bed. Please, lie down. Now, Nathan's heart raced, a mix of anxiety and something else, curiosity, desire, flooding his senses. Yes, it is essential that we create a space for emotional resonance. Her voice was calm, almost soothing, and he found himself drawn to her confidence despite the absurdity of the situation. With a resigned sigh, Nathan moved to the bed, the silken sheets cool against his skin as he lay down. This feels ridiculous. Perhaps, she conceded, taking her place beside him. The bed shifted subtly beneath their weight, a gentle wave of warmth enveloping them both. But it is necessary for our mission. Right, the mission. He turned to face her, their eyes locking. So what now? Now, we will engage in conversation, emotional conversations that may reveal the depths of your psyche. She shifted slightly, adjusting her position to face him fully. You may begin. Begin. How about I start with how this is the most bizarre evening of my life? He chuckled nervously, trying to ease the tension. What's next? A game of truth or dare? Illyria's expression remained serious. Humor is a defense mechanism. Your need to deflect reveals underlying anxiety. Wow, you really don't miss a beat, do you? Nathan replied, impressed despite himself. All right, let's get real then. My anxiety stems from a lifetime of avoiding emotional connections. I'm a scientist, not a therapist. Why do you avoid connections? She asked, her gaze unwavering, as if she were dissecting his very soul. I've always believed emotions are just chemicals firing in our brains. Illusions, really. Nothing more than biological reactions. He shifted uncomfortably, feeling exposed under her scrutiny. I prefer logic. It's safer. Yet logic has not protected your planet from self-destruction, she countered gently. Your species is at war with itself. Your reliance on reason does not account for the emotional complexities of existence. Touché, he replied, admiring the way she framed her arguments. But you're an alien. How do you know anything about human emotions? Emotional intelligence is universal, she said, her voice low and steady. We have observed your species for centuries. We study your behaviors, your art, your conflicts. You are a fascinating contradiction. A contradiction, that's an understatement. He chuckled again but felt the weight of her words settle heavily in the air. We're a mess, Illyriva. We fight wars, we love fiercely, and we hurt each other, often without reason. Yes, she acknowledged, her markings pulsing softly in response. But within that mess lies the potential for unity. The ability to connect deeply with another being is a powerful trait. Nathan hesitated, the shadows of doubt creeping in again. And what if I can't connect with you? What if I fail this mission? Failure is merely a stepping stone to understanding. If you cannot connect with me, it will inform our conclusions about your species. Her voice was unwavering, but there was a gentleness beneath her words that intrigued him. Great, no pressure. He took a deep breath, feeling the tension in his chest begin to ease slightly. Okay, let's say I do connect. What happens then? Then we will reconsider our plans for Earth. Your emotional capacity may provide the necessary insight into your species' potential for peace. Peace. The word hung in the air, heavy with implications. It sounds so simple when you say it. Peace is achievable if both parties are willing to extend understanding. She leaned closer, her nebula-like eyes searching his. Are you willing to extend understanding, Dr. Carter? Nathan swallowed hard, feeling the gravity of the moment weigh upon him. I want to be, but I'm terrified of what it means. Fear is a natural response. Acknowledging it is the first step toward connection. So what? You want me to spill my deepest secrets while we cuddle? He quipped, trying to lighten the mood, but feeling an unexpected warmth in her presence. Cuddling is not necessary, she replied with a hint of amusement, her markings shifting slightly in color. However, vulnerability is required. All right, vulnerability it is. He took another deep breath, mentally preparing himself for this strange journey. I'll start. I've always been afraid of loneliness. It's why I have 3 cats. Interesting. She tilted her head, considering his words. You fear solitude yet isolate yourself through logic. Do you see the contradiction? Yeah, I get it. I'm a walking paradox. He chuckled softly, feeling a strange sense of relief in sharing his truth. But I also fear connection. I've seen how love can shatter people, and I'd rather stay safe. Safety is an illusion. Illyriva's gaze was piercing, filled with an intensity that sent shivers down his spine. True strength lies in vulnerability. You must embrace the uncertainty of connection. Easier said than done, Nathan replied, his voice quieter now, the gravity of her words settling in. I've watched friends and family hurt each other. It's terrifying, yet you still yearn for connection, she pointed out, her eyes narrowing slightly. You wish to be understood, to matter. Maybe, he sighed, feeling the heaviness of his past weighing on him. But I don't know how to bridge that gap. It's like I'm on one side of a chasm, and I can't see the other side. Then let us build a bridge together. Illyriva shifted closer, their shoulders nearly touching. We will start with small steps. Share with me a memory that evokes strong emotion. Okay, let's see. He hesitated, searching his mind for the right moment. There was this time in college, during a late-night study session. I was cramming for an exam, and my friend Sarah brought me coffee. We ended up talking for hours about everything, life, dreams, fears. It felt real. We laughed until we cried. That is a beautiful memory, she said softly, her eyes reflecting something akin to warmth. What did you feel in that moment? I felt alive, connected, like I mattered. He paused, a bittersweet smile crossing his face. But then we drifted apart. She graduated, and we lost touch. Just like that, the connection faded, and that loss hurt you. It wasn't a question, but a statement of fact. Yeah, it did. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. I don't want to feel that again. It's easier to isolate myself. I can control my emotions that way. Control is an illusion, she reiterated. Emotions will surface regardless. It is how you respond that will define your connections. Wow, you really are like a walking self-help book, he teased. But the truth of her words resonated deep within him. I guess I never thought of it that way. Perhaps you have yet to explore the depths of your own psyche. Your emotions are a part of you, Nathan. They are not to be feared but embraced. Embraced. He let the word roll off his tongue, testing its weight. That's a hard pill to swallow. Only if you resist, she replied, her gaze steady. You must cultivate the courage to be vulnerable. Easier said than done, Nathan echoed, a mix of admiration and frustration simmering beneath the surface. But I'm willing to try. Good. Illyria's smile was subtle but genuine, a flicker of warmth that made his heart race. Let us continue then. Share with me another memory. Nathan drew in a deep breath, feeling the weight of her gaze. There's a moment, after my mother passed away, I was sitting on the floor of her hospital room, holding her hand. I felt so helpless, so lost. Tears were streaming down my face, and I didn't know how to let go. Grief is a powerful emotion, she said softly. You felt her absence acutely. I did, he admitted, the memory flooding back with vivid clarity. But I also felt a sense of warmth in that moment. Love, even in loss, there was a connection. Love transcends even death, Illyria said, her voice reverberating with a depth of understanding. It is a bond that cannot be severed. It's just hard to reconcile that with the way people treat each other. So much pain, so much hurt. He shook his head, grappling with the complexities of human emotion. It's overwhelming. Emotions are complex, but they are also a source of strength. You must learn to navigate them, to understand their nuances. I guess I'm just afraid of what happens if I let them in. What if I get hurt? Nathan's voice was low, the vulnerability washing over him like a wave. Then you will learn and grow, Illyria replied, her tone unwavering. But without risk, there is no reward. You must take the leap. All right, leap it is. He took a moment, feeling the gravity of the situation settle heavily in the air. But I have to ask, what about you? You're an alien. How do you understand our emotions? Emotions are universal. She shifted slightly, her markings glowing softly as she spoke. We have studied your species for centuries. Your art, your music, your conflicts. They reveal truths about your emotional landscape. Right, but you're not human. You don't feel the way we do. True, she conceded, but I am capable of empathy. I can observe and interpret the emotional signals you emit. Your body language, your expressions, they speak volumes. Fascinating. He nodded, intrigued despite himself. So you're a sort of emotional anthropologist. An apt description. However, my understanding is limited by my own experiences. I seek to expand my comprehension through this connection. Fair enough. Nathan felt a spark of curiosity ignite within him. So, what do you feel? I mean right now, in this moment. Illyria regarded him for a moment, her gaze piercing. I feel a resonance with you, a curiosity about your emotional landscape. I sense your fears, your hopes, and your desire for connection. Curiosity, he echoed, his heart racing. That's unexpected. Unexpected, she repeated, tilting her head slightly. Is it not a natural response to seek understanding? Sure, but it's not often I meet someone who actively seeks to understand me. He chuckled softly. Usually it's the other way around. Perhaps that is the nature of our encounter, she mused, her markings shifting in color. We are both explorers, seeking to traverse the chasm of understanding. I like that, Nathan replied, feeling a warmth bloom in his chest. Explorers of emotion. Yes, her voice was laced with something deeper, a resonance that vibrated with unspoken possibilities. And perhaps through this exploration, we will discover the unity you seek. Unity. The word hung in the air,
thick with meaning. It's a beautiful idea, Illyria. Then let us continue our exploration, she urged, her gaze unwavering. Share with me your fears, your dreams. Let us build the bridge that may save your planet. With that, Nathan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment settle in. They were two beings from vastly different worlds, yet here they were, lying side by side, embarking on a journey that could alter the fate of humanity. All right, he said, the determination in his voice growing stronger. Let's dive deeper. As he began to share more of himself, the fears that haunted him, the aspirations that drove him, he felt a strange sense of liberation. Illyria listened intently, her presence providing a comforting anchor amidst the storm of emotions swirling within him. And as the night wore on, Nathan realized that perhaps, just perhaps, the connection he had feared for so long was within reach. In the quiet of the alien ship, surrounded by stars and the unknown, he felt a flicker of hope igniting in the depths of his heart, a hope for unity, for understanding, and for a future that transcended the boundaries of their worlds.
The soft pulse of light emanating from the walls of the Varellan ship created an otherworldly ambiance in the room, wrapping Nathan and Illyria in a cocoon of shimmering hues. The air was thick with unspoken emotions as they continued their exploration of vulnerability and understanding. Nathan had shared pieces of himself, his fears, his dreams, the scars of his past, and each revelation felt like a step closer to a connection he had long feared. "Tell me more about your aspirations," Illyria urged, her eyes shimmering like distant stars. "What drives you, Dr. Carter?" Nathan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her gaze. "I've always wanted to explore the universe, understand the mysteries of life beyond our planet. But lately I find myself questioning if that's enough. I want to make a difference. I want to be part of something bigger." "Your desire for significance is admirable," she replied, her voice resonating with empathy. "Yet you are bound by your own fears. You hesitate to engage fully with those around you." "Yeah, well, it's hard to feel connected when you're scared of being hurt," he admitted, the words tumbling out before he could second-guess himself. "I've always been the observer, you know, the guy in the corner, analyzing everyone else's relationships while I just exist. Perhaps it is time to step out of the shadows and embrace the light." Illyria encouraged, her expression earnest. "You have the capacity for deep connections, Nathan. You must allow yourself to be vulnerable." "Easier said than done," he replied, a hint of sarcasm creeping into his voice. "But you're right. I've been holding back for too long, and maybe that's why I'm here with you tonight. Perhaps it is destiny." Her markings glowed softly, a gentle pulse that seemed to resonate with his emotions. "The convergence of our paths may lead to greater understanding, or the end of Earth, as we know it." He chuckled nervously, trying to deflect the weight of the moment with humor. "No pressure, right? Humor is a coping mechanism, but it also reveals your intellect," she noted. "You use it to mask your true feelings. What would happen if you allowed the humor to fade and embraced your emotions instead?" Nathan hesitated, the challenge hanging in the air. "I guess I'd feel exposed, like I'm standing naked in front of a crowd." "Vulnerability is not weakness." Illyria shifted closer, her presence both comforting and intimidating. "It is strength. It signifies trust, a bridge between two beings." "Trust," he echoed, feeling the weight of her words. "That's a big one for me. I've seen how easily trust can shatter." "Trust can be rebuilt," she insisted, her tone unwavering. "But first you must be willing to take the risk, share your true self." "Okay," he said, feeling the tension in his chest ease slightly. "I'll try, but I need you to understand something first. I'm not like you. I've spent my life hiding behind logic, and emotions terrify me." "Emotions are not to be feared. They are the essence of existence," she replied, her eyes searching his. "You must embrace them, even the difficult ones." "All right, let's see." Nathan took a moment, searching for the right words. I've always been afraid of failing, of not being enough. It's like this constant pressure to succeed, to prove myself. I've built my entire life around logic, but I've never truly let anyone in. Your fear of inadequacy is a common human struggle, Illyria Vaz stated, her voice filled with understanding. But within that fear lies the potential for growth. You must confront it to move forward. Yeah, well, confronting it sounds great in theory, he replied, his sarcasm creeping back in. In practice, it's a nightmare. Life is inherently unpredictable, she countered. Embrace the chaos. You cannot control the outcome, but you can choose how you respond. Choose how I respond, he repeated, letting the words sink in. I've been so focused on control that I forgot how to just be. He paused, a flicker of realization igniting within him. Maybe that's what I'm missing. The ability to just be present. Presence is a gift, Illyria Vaz said softly, her gaze unwavering. Allow yourself to be present with your emotions, with your thoughts, and with me. Nathan inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of her words settle in his chest. All right, I'll try. Good, she encouraged. Now share a moment of joy. A memory that brings you happiness. Joy, he mused, searching his mind for a moment that encapsulated that feeling. There's a time when I was a kid, exploring the desert with my father. We'd go stargazing, lying on the hood of his old truck, looking up at the night sky. He'd tell me stories about the constellations, about the adventures waiting for us among the stars. That was pure joy for me. Those moments are precious, Illyria Vaz replied, her tone warm and inviting. What did you feel in that moment? I felt limitless, like anything was possible, and I felt so connected to him, to the universe. It was like we were part of something grander than ourselves. He sighed, the bittersweetness of the memory washing over him. But then life happened. He got sick, and those moments faded away. Loss is a powerful emotion, she noted, her voice gentle. But the joy you experienced does not disappear. It remains within you, waiting to be accessed once again. Yeah, I know. Nathan rubbed the back of his neck, feeling the weight of nostalgia settle in. It's just hard to hold on to that joy when everything else feels so heavy. Then let us lighten the load, she suggested. I will share a memory of joy with you as well. Okay, Nathan replied, intrigued. What's a joyful moment for an alien? Illyria Vaz smiled, her markings glowing softly. During a ceremony in my youth, I witnessed the birth of a star. It was a breathtaking event, filled with vibrant colors and swirling gases. In that moment, I felt connected to the cosmos, to the very fabric of existence. It filled me with a sense of wonder. Sounds incredible, he said, captivated. I've always dreamed of witnessing something like that. Perhaps one day you will, she replied, her gaze steady. But for now, let us focus on the emotions we share in this moment. Right. He took a deep breath, feeling a strange sense of kinship with her. So what do we do now? Now we practice emotional resonance, she instructed. Close your eyes and focus on the emotions we have shared. Let them flow between us. Okay, Nathan followed her guidance, shutting his eyes and breathing deeply. He felt the warmth of her presence beside him, a steady anchor in the storm of his thoughts. Embrace the joy, the sorrow, the fear. Illyria Vaz's voice washed over him like a soothing balm. Allow them to intertwine, to create a tapestry of connection. He focused on the memories they had shared, the joy of stargazing, the sorrow of loss, the fear of inadequacy. Slowly, he felt a warmth building within him, a pulsing energy that resonated with Illyria Vaz's own presence. Feel the connection, she urged, her voice steady and melodic. Let it flow freely. Okay, he whispered, allowing himself to sink deeper into the experience. He envisioned their emotions intertwining, creating a bridge that spanned the chasm of their differences. As he immersed himself in the exercise, a surge of warmth enveloped him, a sensation that felt both foreign and familiar. It was as if their emotions were dancing together, weaving a tapestry of understanding that transcended words. "Now, share what you feel," Illyria Vaz instructed gently. "I feel warmth," Nathan said, his voice barely above a whisper, "a sense of connection. It's like I'm not alone anymore." "Good," she replied, her tone encouraging. "Embrace that feeling. It is the essence of unity." "I'm scared," he admitted, vulnerability creeping back in. "What if this isn't enough? What if we fail?" "Failure is a part of growth," she reminded him. "But within this moment, you are not alone. We are in this together. Trust in the connection we are building." He nodded, feeling the warmth radiating between them. "All right, I trust you. Then let us take another step," she urged. "Open your eyes and look into mine. We will share this moment of resonance." Slowly, Nathan opened his eyes, locking gazes with Illyria Vaz. The intensity of her gaze was both grounding and exhilarating, and he could feel the connection deepening, like a thread, binding their souls together. "Now, let the emotions flow," she instructed. "Share your fears, your hopes, your dreams. Let them intertwine with mine. I hope we can find a way to save Earth," Nathan said, his voice steadying. "But I also hope to find a way to connect with others, truly connect. I don't want to be alone anymore." "Your hopes resonate deeply," Illyria Vaz replied, her eyes shimmering, "and I share them. I hope for peace, for understanding between our species. Together, we can create a future of unity." A warmth blossomed in Nathan's chest, a flicker of hope igniting amidst the uncertainty. "Together," he echoed, feeling the truth of her words resonate within him. "Yes," she affirmed. "Let us weave our emotions into a tapestry of connection. Let us create a bridge that transcends our differences." As they continued to share their hopes and fears, the room filled with an energy that felt almost tangible, a pulsating force that enveloped them in a cocoon of understanding. Nathan could feel their emotions intertwining, creating a bond that defied the boundaries of their worlds. "Do you feel it?" Illyria asked, her voice a soft whisper. "The resonance between us?" "Yes," he replied, a sense of wonder flooding his senses. "It's incredible." "Then we are making progress," she said, her markings glowing brighter. "This connection is a testament to the potential of your species." "Potential," he echoed, the weight of her words settling in. "But what if we don't succeed? What if the connection isn't enough to change your mind?" "Success is defined by our willingness to understand one another," she assured him. "Even if our paths diverge, this connection will remain within us." Nathan swallowed hard, feeling both hope and fear intertwine within him. "I want to believe that." "Then let us continue to explore," Illyria Vaz encouraged. "We will delve deeper into our emotions, into the very essence of what it means to connect." With that, they resumed their exploration, sharing memories and emotions that flowed freely between them. Each revelation brought them closer, weaving a tapestry of understanding that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. As the night wore on, Nathan felt a profound sense of connection blossoming within him, a connection that defied logic and reason, a connection rooted in shared vulnerability and understanding. "Illyria Vaz," he said softly, I think I'm beginning to understand." "Understanding is the first step toward unity," she replied, her voice resonating with warmth. "And you are not alone in this journey." "I know," he said, a smile breaking through the weight of the moment. "I feel it. I feel you." Illyria Vaz markings shimmered brightly, a cascade of colors that reflected her emotions. "Then let us embrace this connection, Nathan. Together, we will bridge the gap between our worlds." "Together," he echoed, feeling a surge of warmth flood through him. In that moment, as they lay side by side beneath the vast expanse of the universe, Nathan realized that perhaps connection wasn't just a distant dream, it was a reality waiting to be embraced. And as the stars danced above them, he felt a flicker of hope ignite within his heart, a hope for unity, for understanding, and for a future that transcended the boundaries of their worlds.
In the quiet of the alien ship, surrounded by the unknown, Nathan found solace in the knowledge that he was not alone. Together with Illyria Voss, they were forging a connection that could change everything, a connection that could save Earth from its own destruction. As dawn approached, casting a soft glow across the room, Nathan knew that whatever lay ahead, he would face it with courage and an open heart, because in that moment, he had discovered the true power of connection, a power that could bridge the gaps between worlds and bring hope to a universe in turmoil. And as he looked into Illyria Voss' eyes, he felt a sense of certainty wash over him. They were on the cusp of something extraordinary, a journey that would transcend the boundaries of their existence and redefine what it meant to connect. "Let's do this," he said, determination in his voice. Together, Illyria Voss affirmed, a smile gracing her lips, and with that, they embraced the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them, united in their quest for understanding and connection.